Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Darts. We are getting closer and closer to episode 100. I did take last week off because I was out enjoying some darts at NDA in Vegas. Got to see some friends, and I've actually wrangled up a couple of them to join me this morning. But before we get them on, I do want to thank my sponsors, of course, Shot Darts, Shot who makes beautiful artwork that we get to throw. Want to thank Jennifer Mounts, who I got to hang out with at the NDA last Monday. She makes the jerseys, designs the jerseys, and Magic Wear makes the jerseys. So thank you, Jen, and it was great getting to hang out with you as well. And I want to thank everybody over at Condor Flights and Shafts. We really like that particular product. Saw a lot of it in use over at the NDA, but let's get into our conversation today. If you are watching and listening, do hit me with a ton 80 there in the comments. But I was able to wrangle up a couple of guys that I saw at NDA. I don't know. You guys might know these guys. One of them is the illustrious Roy Collins. Hey, Roy. How's it going?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Matt?
Hey. And our other guest who is joining us for the first time, part of the flight crew, Cheyenne Lindsay. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Long arm, baby face.
And if you guys out there know that Roy and I have done this thing where we make a bet occasionally, Roy has lost and had to wear a dress on his stream. Yeah, both these guys are part of the Bullseyes N Brewskis crew, but Roy and I are going to make our next bet. It's going to be facial hair. So Roy's like, I'm losing it already. So hey guys, it's good to see you. We got to hang out at NDA. It was the first time we finally got to physically hang out, have some drinks, and I got to watch you guys play darts, which was incredibly fun. I just want to get a little bit, Cheyenne, you haven't been on before, so I think everybody wants to know how you got into darts. But if you go first and just give a quick synopsis of how you got into darts, and then Cheyenne, if you jump in and give us the longer story.
Yeah, sure. So, my parents played in dart leagues when I was younger, teenager up in my early 20s. And, they used to frequent the pubs quite often, and I would hang out and kind of watch them, and kind of fell in love with darts, kind of fascinated by it. And then, years go on, and you have a family, and you do the sports, and you do the baseball and the travel leagues and all of that kind of thing. And then the dust settles, they grow up. And then, this guy moves in next door, and we're outside, man, we're buddies, we're drinking some cold beers in the summer, throwing cornhole, that kind of thing. And then, all of a sudden now it gets, the summer's winding down, it gets a little cold, and I'm like, man, we have to have another reason to keep hanging out and drinking beer. How about throw some darts? So I went down and got a cheap dartboard, put it in my wall, and the rest was history, man. We just took off, and that was a couple of years ago. So, that's my whole thing with darts. I mean, I'm basically, I haven't really been throwing active more than a couple of years. And at first it was just something to do on the weekends, and then it turned out to be obsessive. I mean, that's kind of all I think about, unfortunately. My wife reminds me that daily. We're just having a blast with this thing, man.
Nice. Cheyenne, how did you end up getting into this deal?
Like Roy said, we were playing cornhole every single day, man. We were drinking beer, slinging bags, and got cold one night. And he was like, "Let's throw some darts." And I was like, "Man, I've never done that before, but I'll give it a whirl." And then him and Steve were playing. They were playing cricket, and I was like, "Let me jump in." They're like, "Oh, we'll do no score cricket." And I was like, "Absolutely not." I was like, "I want the full deal, man." I was like, I hung with the boys, I'd never
right.
I could hardly hit what I was throwing at, and then it took
you
off.
You still can't hit what you're throwing at. What are you talking?
Very rarely do I. But, man, it took off. Like he said, I got addicted. I got sucked into the dart world, and I was like, man, it's a blast. Then I started buying better darts and got a better dart board, and I got one you could play online, but it didn't work out very well. And then grand boards, we started streaming, and it's really kind of taken over my life, I hate to say, but I mean, it's all I do It's what my wife and I do. Like, we'll watch our TV show, or we'll go downstairs and we'll throw darts. And my son and I, we throw, and he's got a dartboard below mine, and we throw, man. That's all. That's what happens. And then like got sucked into the bar league, and I didn't think we were going to go to Vegas. And I told my wife, I was like, we're not going to go. We're not going to win it. And halfway through the season, I was like, honey, we're going to Vegas. I was like, there ain't no doubt. Like, we all started getting better. We're not good by any means, but we can throw. And then next thing you know, we're in Vegas last week, and killer time. It was definitely a killer time.
So, Cheyenne, tell me about hitting the 16s, because I understand this is your favorite number.
Oh, yeah. I love them, man. Whoever's my partner, I'm like, listen, I don't care if there's 16s and bulls left. I'm leaving the 16s to you. I hate the 16s. Anybody who plays me on the grain board when we stream tonight or any other time, 16s are my downfall, man. I can't hit them. I can hit a double, but I cannot hit a triple. I can't score points on them. I can get them out, but it takes me 6 darts. I suck at them. I can't stand them.
Nice. Real quick, I do want to give it a shout out to Jules Van Dulen, who is watching this stream. Congratulations on your win over the Cherry Bomb. But he's checking you guys out. And congratulations to him on that win. I just saw him on the stream, so I just had to give him a quick shout out. So I got to go over and check you guys out. I drove over specifically to come hang out with you guys and ended up spending the day really hanging out with you. Did spend some time with Will Stewart and Jen Mounts, but didn't know how much time I'd get to hang with you guys, but got to spend the day, and it was a real blast. Had a great time. So it was interesting. I have been to tournaments before, but it's been a while, and I kind of had forgotten some of the protocols. The 8 a.m. start, and you start you start drinking at 7 a.m. so you're ready for the 8 a.m.
Oh, 7 a.m. fireball shots, man, to get us going.
Like, the bar is open at 8 a.m. in the hall.
Man, bars don't close in Vegas. Come on.
I know they don't. But typically, when it's in a hall, like for an event, they don't normally open at 8 a.m. So, but it was fun. It was great to see you guys and get to meet everybody. What was it like? I mean, so you guys are coming from West Virginia. Really, this is the first tournament of this type that you guys have been to. This is a big tournament. And just so that everybody knows, there were no international players there, and there were still like 2,500 people there. It was, it was a good turnout. There was a number of turnouts of professional darts players. So, which was awesome. And we've talked about the whole pro thing. As far as I'm concerned, you guys are pros. You're a team. You're playing. You guys are awesome. So there you go. But what was it like? If you guys could just chime in and just like, what was it? What were you expecting? And then what was the difference from the expectation? What was it like?
Well, I'll start, Shane, if it's cool.
Give me some.
We have a couple of guys on our team that have been there before, and they obviously were kind of coaching us on what to expect. And obviously streaming kind of helps because you're playing in front of a lot of people, even though it's virtual. I mean, they're there, they're in the chat. But it really doesn't give you enough, practice to think, what you're actually going to see when you're there. Because I know, basically it's just nothing but dartboards, nothing but people. And, it's just fast paced and very competitive. And I know, our routine the first couple of days when we got there, it was like, Vegas, baby, right? Everybody's pumped up. And the routine was you wake up, you grab a beer out of the cooler, you take a shower. You get out of the shower, you do a shot, you grab a beer out of the cooler, and you walk to the dart hall. And that was cool for the first couple of 3 days, right? So we get there day one. We didn't know what to expect. Tons of good competition. And again, you're talking about the international players not being there. And what that really did is it sort of shook up the field to where they brought a lot of other players up to levels. And then they may have brought masters down to, like, let's say level 1, by, things of that nature. So we were actually in a higher bracket than what we anticipated. We were in level 4 and that was pretty tough, and I didn't know what to expect. So our expectations on day one was just to survive day one. and we did, and once we survived day one of the 01 tournament, that's when it kind of hit home. We're like, hey, we can do this thing. We kind of seen the competition. We watched other players and kind of seen what we were up against. And we thought, hey, we can do this. So day two came with 01, and again, we did enough and made it to the money round in day three. And of course, the routine is the same, right? You wake up, you grab in the cooler, you're 8 a.m., you're throwing darts, and I'm telling you, my brews in the morning are burnt and strong, right? That's me. So, that whole routine was just put me off kilter, to be honest. But we did it, and we did well on day 3 in 01. We actually finished 8th overall, and I'm really proud of that. So obviously, then the cricket was the very next day, and we all thought going in that cricket was going to be our strong point. So. We breezed through day 1 and even day 2, and then we got to day 3 in cricket and started out 2-0 and guaranteed 5th minimum. And I thought, hey, we have some momentum here, man, and we might be able to win this thing. But unfortunately, that's where our journey stopped. We finished 5th overall, which it's still pretty. I'm proud of that. For first year, it's a lot to be proud of. So. But I think next time I go back, I'll make a few lifestyle adjustments a little bit. We did go to Fremont Street the night before day 3, which our captain was not happy about. He warned us about that, but hey, you're only in Vegas once, right? So, once a year. So, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely was, for sure.
Yeah, you got to save Fremont for after day 3.
Lord.
I wish
that place is wild.
Everybody left Fremont, and Steve and I, we weren't done yet. It was 2 a.m. and we're like,
I left them. I'm like, I'm out, guys.
We're not done.
You guys are younger than me.
We're like, we're having a blast. We sat at a concert all night drinking beers, man. I was like, I don't want to leave yet. That was a huge mistake because I had 2 hours of sleep before we started playing.
Yeah, we got a lot of footage that we haven't released yet. I'm thinking about maybe dropping a little bit of it. I may have to go through a little bit and edit a couple things out there.
Yeah, let's take out the stuff that shouldn't be seen.
Right, so. The things that need to stay in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I do want to point out to everybody that's watching, wives were available. Wives were there, at least for some of you guys. So wasn't that bad. But so, and what was your thoughts and experience coming into this? And I do want to just point out to everybody, they made money. Like, they're ballers right now. They're rolling in some cash flow. But so, but Shane, what was your expectation going into it? Because again, for you, darts is fairly this whole concept is a little bit newer. But what was the thought process going to Vegas, and then what was it like for you?
I didn't really have any huge expectations other than walking out with 2 different trophies. I mean, that was my expectations. When I go to play, I expect to win, and I'm not trying to be cocky. That's just how I feel. But man, when I walked in that hall and I saw thousands of people and hundreds upon hundreds of dartboards, I started getting a little shaky, and I was like, "Well, I should have made that shot a double. I should have grabbed another beer out of the fridge." You can ask Roy, my first 2 days of 01, I was horrible. I couldn't hit anything. I was nervous. I was shaking. The pressure got to me. And day 2, I ended up sitting myself in 01 and went to the practice hall and just practice. All these people in the practice room practicing so I could get over that. And I was nervous, man. It whooped me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. It was definitely a scary process for me going and throwing. I've only thrown a year and a half, and then I go straight to the big stage, and I'm throwing for money. I mean, throwing for plastic trophies. I mean, it was a lot to process. And by first day of cricket, I was good, man. I was like, I'm in my sweet zone now, and cricket's my baby. I love cricket. And
all except for the 16th.
You were there, and you made me nervous. Of course, as soon as you walk off, I hit some big darts, and I was like, well, he didn't even tell me that.
Yeah, speaking of some big darts, I think it was like your 5th match. Like game, what was that? Like game 5 or whatever? I mean, what was like?
Yeah, it was game 5. It was the deciding leg of who was going to win that. I think, or it was 4 or 5. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I think it was. Like I had walked away. I went and saw Will for a bit, and what was it that you hit? I mean,
it was. We almost rounded out. They had 15s out and they needed bulls, and we had bulls on. And we were down in points, and we needed to close 15s. And I walked up, and I was like, well, this is it. I hit single bull, and I stepped off and took a deep breath, and I was like, 15s are my second least favorite number. Let's get this. And threw my 3rd dart and hit the trip 15. Man, I guarantee you people at Fremont Street could have heard Roy, Steve, and I scream.
Yeah,
I went ballistic. I was like, I hadn't hit big darts the whole time I'd been there. I'd hit a couple 5 marks, but nothing that meant, not the game-winning shot like that. It was a good feeling. It was awesome. That made it all.
He was screaming, "Good darts!
Good darts!"
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed that, but I heard it.
No,
so, yeah, Will and I are like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, and honestly, shout out to our local pub, Bo Daddy's. It's out of City Amusements in Ohio. We had 4 teams from our pub that made money rounds in the tournaments. And West Virginia showed up. I think the winner of the cricket was actually a team out of just like a city away from us. The
team beat us and knocked
us out. The team that beat us won the whole thing. So, we definitely showed up, man. We had quite a bit of teams. I think it was a team out of Wheeling, too, from West Virginia there, and I think a Huntington team. So, yeah, we definitely had a presence there for sure.
Yeah, it was interesting for me being, from the West Coast and like there's no real representation coming from the West Coast to a lot of these things that are right. It's a 4-hour drive for most of us. And for me, it was super interesting. Now there's a tournament on the Queen Mary in Long Beach. And of course you did get a lot of Californians, but you got people from all over going to that tournament. But this one, I had not been to this particular tournament, so I wasn't sure what to expect as far as. Mrs. Atomic chiming in there. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I was kind of shocked because it seemed, and this is not a derogatory type of thing, but it was very much like the Midwest. I want to say hillbillies, but it was kind of like that's where it was, and I was like, wow, like. There wasn't a lot of New York teams.
No.
There weren't a lot of like there definitely wasn't really many Florida type people. There was no West Coast, no West Coast representation at all, which kind of shocked me.
Yeah, it was like Alaska, Montana, a lot of that.
Minnesota. There were a few teams in Minnesota too. And, Wisconsin, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're more rural teams. So there wasn't any big city teams. I didn't see anybody from Florida. I didn't see anybody from New York. Nobody from California. It was just more rural areas. I guess nobody else has anything better to do than throw darts.
And go to Vegas.
Yeah.
And go to Vegas. There were definitely some newbies to Vegas. When I walked in the hall, you could tell. But it was. I figured as much, but I didn't want to say anything. So, but it was fun to kind of get to go hang out with people and not have to worry about anything. Just kind of hang out with you guys. I jumped in with Will on the USA Darts stream. That was cool. I got to hang out with Mullet Boy, and if you guys don't know, Will Stewart's working on the mullet.
He's rocking.
But, it's a Kansas thing, I guess. But yeah, I got to sit down with him. He's like, "Hey, let's hop on," and we did the show for a bit, and that was kind of cool. But it was great to see you guys and hang out and see that you guys were doing well. I'm curious, your winnings, like that first day. I mean, that first bit of winnings. Like, was it like $43? I mean, what did you guys do with that? I mean, how'd you spend that?
It was actually more than $43. It was closer to like $50.
It's $48.
Yeah,
$48.
That was almost 2 whole beers in Vegas at the moment.
Exactly.
It's like 2 1/3.
What'd
you guys? What'd you guys do with that money?
Well, originally we all wanted to all put the whole $240 together and go put it on black on the roulette table, but some people
let it roll.
Didn't want to, so we didn't do that. Unfortunately, I mean, double our money. I was totally down for it, but
yeah, they'd get each of you a beer if you had done that.
One extra beer. We'd have got three.
That's right.
Beer for everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How'd you like? So, what? That was what 8th place. You guys took 5th in cricket. How was the payout for 5th place?
It was better.
I think it was 60 apiece.
Yeah, it was like 60 something a piece. I mean, it's not great. And again, I wasn't out there to make money. I was out there for the hardware. You know, I wanted to bring back a trophy. You know, that's the money. I mean, money's nice, but I mean, I wanted the hardware. We came up a little short on that, but you know, hopefully next time we bring back something, put on the wall.
Yeah,
what I wanted to do.
And if you've never been to that tournament, I don't know which other tournaments do this. I know a couple of them do it. They basically post the names of winners on banners around the hall. And that's kind of almost what you're really playing for, is to have your name on there. So like 10 years from now, you'd be like, look, that's me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we have a couple of guys on our team that were showing us where their names were on the banners. So we definitely know about that.
Yeah. So that's kind of the deal.
Sure.
So you guys got to see Jen Mounts and Dax. How was that? How was that?
Man, let me tell you, it's no secret for anybody that knows me, especially you, Matt, that like I'm a huge Jen Mounts supporter and fan. Always have been, you know, and she's a complete rock star. And to hang out with her, man, like we hung out with her multiple times. She actually threw darts with us. And
that was my partner right there.
Yeah, and trust me, she still has it. She can still throw, man. I'm telling you, she definitely can. So, yeah, that was really the highlight, is hanging out with you, Matt. Obviously, Jen and Tori. The whole A to Z crew was just amazing. They kicked complete ass down there. I don't think any other distributor even came close to them. I think they just pretty much wiped everybody out. But so we got to hang out with, obviously, with Jen and Tori from A to Z. Dax, too. He was given some pointers in the dart hall, so we hung out with Dax for quite a while. He's amazing. I mean, he is just an encyclopedia of knowledge. I mean, this guy he will analyze you and he will fix you like within a matter of just minutes almost. So that was super cool. And then obviously the animal. Will is an animal. I had no idea. I mean, Will Stewart is so cool. He is so full of energy. He never slows down. He is always go, go, go. And
running everywhere.
I had no idea. Like, I've talked to Will. I've played Will before online. I mean, we chatted back and forth, this and that. But to meet him and hang out with him, it's just like a whole other person, you know. And he's just top class. I mean, the guy is so nice. And yeah, we hung out with Will basically the whole time. I mean, every day at some point we were hanging out with Will. So, you know, that was really cool too. So yeah, and obviously having dinner with Matt. And Matt, by the way, pick the tab up for everybody at dinner. Thank you, Matt. And we're going to do something special for you. And it was a big crew. So that was really awesome. So.
Yeah. It was my pleasure to do that. And everybody watching, I can't do that all the time. Everybody watching, you know, going on with, but no, it was my pleasure to do that. It was a ton of fun. I wish Will had been there, but Will was running the stream.
Yeah.
I should have ran back over and hung out with him for a bit, but I was like, man, I got to get back to my hotel, crash, and because I had to get up in the morning and go. But yeah, Will is definitely top class, great guy. Jen is phenomenal. She's like, if you want jerseys, you should be buying from just a classy lady like that. I gotta say, and they're comfortable. I wore mine all day the whole time I was there, and they were nice. You guys, the flight crew jerseys were from them, and they looked good on you guys. So it is flight crew, right?
Yeah, and not only, I mean, she is an amazing designer. I mean, she designed her whole logo. We basically gave her, I mean, just a couple of
words, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you know, really nothing to go on. Like, okay, our name was Flight Crew. There you go. Like,
we're like, we want it bold and awesome.
Here's the bullet points. Flight Crew.
We didn't change anything from the first design. We were like, we love it.
Yeah.
And then we ordered like in the following couple of days once we got everybody's money together.
Right. Right. So, I mean, yeah, I definitely recommend anybody that's looking for a design or a jersey to absolutely go to Magic Wear, in particular with Jen Mounts, I mean, because she's definitely going to work with you and get you the exact design that you want. And it's, you know, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's great to work with. I'm curious, what were some of the kind of like highlights for you guys? I know you played a number of different teams. There were some all-female teams that you guys played. You know, what was kind of some of that was like, and what were some of the things that maybe kind of were a pain in the butt, so to speak? I know there was a particular player while I was there that just seemed to like she was not happy about anything.
Yeah, she was. I know, man. Yeah, I think really the highlights for me on that. I mean, there's several dartboards that they use. They use the Phoenix Machine. They use the Bull Shooters. They use the Radical, which I like the Radical. I didn't have any issues with the Radical. And then they actually use an old Valley Cougar machine, and that kind of surprised me. I mean, trust me, I love the Valley Cougars, but I was surprised that they were using them in the tournaments.
Not to play for money on. I mean, I'd like to play drunken darts on it, but I didn't like playing for money on it. It was not fun.
I didn't mind that one. The one I didn't like was the Phoenix board because it seemed like you're throwing down a hallway. It's so recessed. And I mean, after a day or two, I was used to it. But that first day when I threw on it, it just felt like, I don't know what it is. It's so recessed in the cabinet that your peripherals don't line up with your vision. You know what I mean? Like it put me off just a little. I mean, not even a complaint. I mean, you just got to get used to it. But yeah, most of the teams, I would say 90% of the teams were just super cool, right? You just hang out with them, man. You throw darts, you know, win or lose. Hey, you know, good luck, move on. If they were those teams, absolutely right. And I know the one in particular that you're talking of. Basically, her whole idea was to not let the darts decide the winner. She wanted to watch everything going on and pull the rule book out and literally try to get every team disqualified before their darts were thrown. I think there was a guy that threw a 31 in an 0-1 game, and she went up to the score table and said, hey, he's thrown above what the average should be. So he shouldn't be in this level. So it stopped the play. They came down, they talked to him. And obviously, I mean, you know, who's not going to throw a 31 occasionally? Everybody's going to throw a 31 occasionally. It's not. I mean, that's not extremely high, you know.
Yeah,
it's good, but it's not off the charts, you know. So, you know, we had to deal with her. Thank goodness, only one time. But other than that, overall, man, people were just really cool. I mean, matter of fact, we met a lot of friends down there, and we had some of them actually jump on our stream this last Saturday and play us. Risky Biscuits. Those guys were so cool. And
they were
man, you guys got to jump on our stream Saturday, and they did. And that was really cool to be able to play them. So we met some new friends down there. Hopefully, to kind of stick around for a while, you know.
Yeah, no, for me it was awesome just to sit back and watch all the competitors and just kind of watch the teams and see how, because I was just taking in everything. There were a couple things I noted that I do want to talk about as we get into this. But Cheyenne, what was it? You know, what was some of the highlights? I know, you know, highlight as far as closing out that game in that match, which that's a huge highlight, especially since you had to hit a 15. So sorry. But what were some other like highlights of just being there and hanging out and you know, like, did anybody go up and talk to the soldier or anything like that?
Oh,
I had quite a few people come and recognize me from the stream itself. And that was, I told you that when we were getting drinks. I was like, that, it kind of blew my mind. It's like, when we started this, I didn't expect anything to come from it. And then we're, you know, 2,000 miles away from home, and people are coming up like, hey, you're Shane from Bullseyes N Brewskis. And I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? And I watch your streams. I've played you in streams before. And I'm like, dude, this is insane. I mean, that was awesome. And then another highlight was I got to play with Jen Mounts. Like, me and her teamed up and played Roy and Steve, and we tossed our games back and forth.
Yeah, but no, guess who won the most games right here, baby? Guess who won, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a blast because I'd been talking to her since day one. I was like, Jen, we got to play together. And Will and I played, and on the team together, and that was awesome. And it didn't go as because I'm a horrible partner. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a horrible partner. But I loved it, man. The whole experience itself was just worth it. You know, I got tired of it by day 4, like just Vegas itself. It's a lot to take in. I mean, I'm freshly married, I have kids, you know, I'm missing them. But whenever I was throwing darts, But by the time I was done throwing darts, I'm like, man, I wish I was kind of home right now. It's like if we get booted, I was like, I'm catching an earlier flight home. If we'd have lost first day of cricket, I would have went home the next day, because it's just everything's expensive. There's a lot going on. I mean, but the darts, I love the darts, man. I thought I'd be tired of them by the end. I took the day off when I got home because my wife bought me a steel tip board for my birthday, and it was sitting there just waiting for me to put up when I got home, and I just looked at it and pushed it under the bed. I was like, I'm done for a while, man. I threw so many darts it wasn't even funny. And then the next day I was like, I think I'm gonna hang that up. And then I was like, I think I'm gonna throw some games on it. Then I was like, I think I'm gonna hop online on the grain board, and it just all came back to me. It just needed a day break.
Oh shit, I can say the same thing, because honestly, I think we finished up cricket last Wednesday. I put my darts in my suitcase. That was it. I didn't want to look at them. I was literally to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to think about it. I didn't even post anything else about the tournament. I didn't look at my Facebook, nothing. I just unplugged for a couple of days. I'm like, I need to refuel a little bit. So I get home, and I still felt that way for a couple of days. Like, you know, it was like Thursday, Friday. I'm like, you know what? I still don't like my darts. But then Saturday rolls around. It's time to stream. It's like, bang, it's right back. You know, you get that energy back. And then you realize how much you actually love what you do. So,
yeah.
Now, for beer, I don't know if I will ever drink a beer again. I don't know if I can.
Oh, come on.
But, dude, it makes me sick thinking about it. Roy keeps texting me pictures of beer and bottles of Fireball. And I'm like constantly gagging. Like, that's all I consume. I woke up, ate Pop-Tarts, shotgunned a Red Bull, and took a shot of Fireball, and usually 2, and then just started drinking. And it wore me out. My body still hasn't completely recovered.
Definitely not a good lifestyle, that's for sure.
No, I would not last longer than 5 years in Vegas if I lived there.
So I have talked about, you know, the fact that darts players need to start taking care of themselves a little bit more, and you know, that the whole healthy lifestyle. I just think next year, as an experiment, you guys should do half the beers, maybe throw some water in there, and do some other things, and see how the play goes. Just saying, you know, we could experiment that way.
I didn't drink, like, the championship days. I didn't drink.
Oh, okay.
I was still hungover from the day before on the championship day of cricket, and it didn't go well for me. I mean,
so that's one reason, because you were hungover. It wasn't because you didn't want to.
You should have stayed drunk, because then you would have played okay. So you should have just kept drinking.
If I would have drank one beer, I'd have been back to the same level I was before. I was like, nope, I'm good. I just started pounding waters and Gatorades, and yeah.
I'm gonna get you guys to mix this in during the whole tournament. You know, we'll work on that.
Yeah, okay.
I think when I play at home.
I'm gonna come be your nutrition guy. I'm gonna just like hang out with you guys and be like, all right, here's a bar and here's this and
here's a salad.
Yeah.
And after dinner, you know my thoughts on salad and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you know, salads out there are like $25. So
hey, that's the deal, man.
Dude, it was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. Like I sat down for a coffee and a salad. Like that, you guys were done with the tournament. I was just hanging out, doing some stuff, making some notes, calling people. And I got a salad and a coffee, and it was $26. And I was like, what the?
That's about right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about right.
Do you want to apply for a loan, or are you going to write a check for this?
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's
yeah,
like,
it was funny. Like, as soon as we got off the airplane, and we jumped in the taxi and was going to the West Gate where the tournament was. You know, the taxi driver said, hey, do you guys need me to stop anywhere? He was like, liquor store.
Yeah.
Not anywhere. So
and that was a horrible
it was a horrible idea because like
they're like intertwined with each other, and they're like, we're gonna screw these guys that aren't from Vegas. We bought 2 cases of beer and 2 bottles of liquor, and it was almost $250. then we went to it's basically a Kroger for us. Smith's, I don't know if you have them there. I'm sure people know. And it was the same price as back home. I'm like, this taxi driver sucks. He screwed us over. Him and his buddies were sitting there like texting, laughing at us. I got these West Virginians good.
So yeah, it's best when you're there to go to the grocery store and buy stuff, and go to the grocery store that's more in town. So what a lot of people don't know is there's a strip, but then there's like Vegas, like there's like people live there, and if you go more in town, you can actually get reasonable prices. Even on the strip, there's like some drugstores and stuff, and things are okay, but it's still jacked up about 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's lessons learned. You guys could write a book, like how to the darts player in Vegas and like what not to do.
Definitely, what we could do the book on what not to do. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely don't black out the night before championship day.
That would be an easy read. Yeah,
easy read. It'd be a one pager, a white page.
One pager. Don't drink more than 6 beers before you play.
Yeah. At 8 a.m.
Right now.
So I do want to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff that was going on in the darts world. And this is what I found really interesting. Oh, and by the way, Cheyenne, just so you know, no one recognized me. No, like I had people that are like, hey, that's a cool jersey. I was like, thanks. They're like, I like the coffee stuff. And I was like, cool. But like, no one was like, oh my gosh, that's Matt from nobody knows. So it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I'm a little hurt, but it's okay.
You were like, oh my God. I think I saw a tear in Roy's eye.
Yeah. So that's why I just hung out with you guys, because it was like, hey, nobody knows me. This is cool. No. But one of the things I noticed in regards to it, because like the whole time we were there, there's this thing going on called the PDC, these dart things going on with a soft tip player hitting 127 average that Monday while I was there. Jose de Sousa, who won back-to-back. But like nobody had a clue what was PDC or going on there. I talked to a couple people outside of like when I was hanging out with Roy, that was kind of the pro section. You know, that's where all the pros were. And of course, those guys all know what's going on. But I was surprised. Like people had no clue what that is. And what it kind of showed me is in the U.S., really how far we need to go. Because over in Europe, darts is a thing. Here, it's a fun activity you do with your friends, and you go to Vegas and you do these things. You do win money and stuff, but it's not like football. Like if I had brought up football in that room, everybody would have been like, oh, this is my team. This is what they watch stuff. They know. There's just not enough people watching darts. What's your guys' thoughts kind of on that? Did you see that? Or, I mean, am I just missing something?
Man, a lot of these people that we play with and we talk to, they don't throw darts or even think about darts except for league. Like, there's 2 people on our team. They've been playing for, 12 plus years, 20 years, something insane. And they pick up their darts when they go to league. They send them back down to where they were, and that's the only time they touch them. Like Vegas is done, they won't touch their darts until league starts back up. And the majority of these soft tip people we're playing, that's how they work. They're like, darts is done. I'm going home. I'm going to live my life. Then you got Roy, Steve, and I, and we're like, oh my God, like we play every day. We're maybe not now. We're kind of taking a little bit of a breather, but we throw every day. I keep up with the PDC for the most part because I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more than I did when I first started throwing, but nobody talked about steel tip. Nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Not as the person that I talked to.
And I contribute some of that to just the fact that, so many people actually pick darts up at an older age. And, if you think about, big impressions, especially with sports, that typically comes at a younger age. Like, obviously, we raise our kids to watch professional basketball and football and baseball and things like that. And they play that at a young age. And it kind of just burns into their DNA over time. So I think with the whole online leagues that you see now and a lot of the streams with darts, I think a lot of the younger kids and younger age folk, women and men alike, are starting to throw. I know I have kids that throw darts. Matt, you do too. And I'm sure that Shane, his little ones throws darts every time Shane does in his house. So I think we may, hopefully, that may help contribute to change some of that. It may be more than just a sport that you see, men or women throw in a pub, which is kind of typical, especially in our area. I mean, that's the only place you can actually throw darts competitively is in a pub. So obviously, kids aren't going to learn to follow it, and it's obviously you can't watch it on television unless you stream, which most youth now, that's what they watch are streams. I mean, they don't really watch a whole lot of regular TV. So I think if we can kind of get our youth more involved, especially playing online, I think that's one good thing about a Grand Board is it's skill specific. You can play, if you're a beginner, you can play people in your class, or if you're a pro, like a lot of people who we play and it just completely destroy us. I mean, you can play people in the higher ranks, but it gives everybody an opportunity to not only have fun with it, but to be competitive and to stat track and to understand what averages mean. We'll understand what how to play competitively in tournament play. So I think if I know that, obviously we know that COVID's ending and things of that nature as far as a lot of the restrictions, but I don't see the online going away. I mean, I think we're going to see obviously a lot of the in-person, and that's the core of darts. I mean, obviously it always is going to be, but I think that the online is going to continue to grow. I think the streams are going to continue to grow. I think that the online tournaments are going to continue to grow, and I think there's room for it all. It's just gonna make things hyper local. It's gonna bring people from one coast to the other together, which typically, I mean, if you're playing people in your local area, I don't care how good you are, you're never really gonna get a chance to play people across the country unless you play online. So I think that is probably one of the key components as far as trying to bring it more mainstream here in the U.S. I think.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of see that happen. And I do want to give a shout out to Jason Watt, who's watching. He just did, if you guys didn't watch or didn't catch it, he did the Cherry Bomb, which was in Florida, which interestingly enough, there were some players from Vegas that went to Florida, like literally hopped on a plane and went to Florida to play there.
Leonard Gates didn't he? I mean, he hopped right on and was down there playing, right? I mean,
yeah. So props to Jason Watt and the Bearded Dart Guy channel program. I don't know what you guys are calling it in regards to the stream that you're doing for the tournaments, but that was nice. It was fun to watch, and hear Jason kind of deal with that. And I saw a picture. He took his son with him, and so cool to have all that going. But I'm just curious. Like, I think about football. Like, if I bring up football, everybody's got an opinion. Of course, you look around. Like, I got Chiefs stuff all over the place. Now I have Dart stuff all over the place too. But like, I can talk Chiefs, I can talk football, I can talk baseball, basketball. I've really been turned off on, but I can talk Suns because I've been a Suns fan forever. We're gonna win the NBA championship this year. We're winning it, baby. We're winning it.
You guys need to make a bet on that.
Yeah, there we go.
Suns are gonna win that.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, that's who you're making a bet with on this one, Matt.
Oh, okay, with him. Yeah,
I'm safe.
No, Suns are gonna win. I know that.
So, but see, that's the thing is, like, you can throw out certain sports, but here in America, darts isn't that way. You go over to Europe, man, and you start, like, people know the players. They know their stats. They know this and that. It's like what we do. I'm just, in my head, I'm like, how do we get darts to that perspective? To where, like, everybody should have been on their phone when they weren't playing, kind of watching the PDC. Like, I was standing there watching that, talking to you guys, but like, nobody. It was just interesting to me that really, if I had brought up Jose de Sosa, who is a soft tipper who was killing it on Monday, nobody would have known who he was for the most part. I mean, there's some people there that probably would have, but for the most part, like, no one follows darts outside of, hey, I go to the pub and I play with my friends and then I go home, which kind of for me was a little bit
it's kind of a niche. It's kind of a niche here. And really, it's not super accessible to watch. I
I think my opinion is it's really not televised. You have to spend $20 a month to watch it, and recently you couldn't even watch it if you were in the U.S. if I remember correctly. So there's not really ways for people to keep up with it. Yeah, you can log in and see stats and watch play-by-play, and that's what I did whenever you couldn't watch it over here, but it makes it less interesting when you have to go and watch somebody, streaming it illegally or however I mean, but it's not on TV. It's people aren't going crazy about it. I mean, I get crazy about it. I watch it. I love it. But a lot of people don't know about it. I mean, it's not huge to these people. I mean, Danny Baggish going over there and playing, that's big. That's big for people over here because they're like, see, somebody from the United States going across the pond to play. I think that's big for the sport as well. I mean,
yeah, hopefully the general media will catch on to that and get him on some of the shows, because that's always a big thing. If you need to talk shows, the other downside, I think, is like a lot of the PDC tournaments are on during the day when we're at work or early mornings. You know, I've gotten up at 3 a.m. to watch a tournament, so that is a bit of a downside. But it's like, how do we bring it to the mainstream here in America? And I will say, Danny Lauby did really well at Cherry Bomb. I think he went to the finals in like 5 of the events he was in. So he did really well there. So props to him. And of course that helps bring the name of darts around. But yeah, for me, it was kind of interesting to see that no one, and a couple people I chatted with a little bit, just like getting beers and hanging out. Like I was watching the PDC on my phone, and people are like, "What are you doing? What's that?" And I'm like, "What's the PDC?" I'm like, "It's like Jose de Sosa's crushing it," and they're like, "They don't even know." And so that was kind of like, I was like, "Wow!" Like, because I'm about darts, but these people that are playing in this tournament are like, they weren't about darts. They were about hanging out with their friends, throwing some darts, having some beers, and then I'm out.
Yeah, I think the overall consensus, that's probably right. But then again, I mean, you know, when you're in that dart hall, I mean, you know, it's I wouldn't say fast paced because it's darting, but then, you know, you're constantly having to shuffle around where you're playing next. You have to look at the score table to find out what table you're on next, what machine. You're trying to study your next opponent a lot of times. And, you know, so I think you can kind of get caught up in the moment when you're actually involved in the tournament. You know, I'd be curious to know, you know, maybe how many people in there would be watching it if they weren't actually in the tournament at the time. I'd be curious. I would say it's probably under 50% though. I mean,
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely 100%. I mean,
yeah.
When I'm throwing, I try to get in my game mode where I'm thinking like just the board, you know, and trying to outplay myself so I can beat my opponent. I don't care what my opponent throws. I mean, I got to throw better than what I can normally throw to beat people. So I try to stay focused. I mean, I'd get updates from my app and stuff, but I look at it real quick and kind of put it down. But I'd pay attention more towards the end of the day when we're done.
Yeah, no, and I get, like, if you're there playing, I mean, you got to stay focused on what you're doing. Totally grasp that. But it was just the concept. The 5 or 6 people that literally asked me what I was watching had no clue what the PDC was, as far as, oh, like, I can watch that, or who's this guy, or what's that. Like, it just blew my mind that there was, like, literally no knowledge of. And it clicked with me, is that people, other sports, it's there in your face so much. You know, NFL's in your face, MLB's in your face, and you know, these sports are there, where darts isn't so much in your face unless you're kind of looking for it. Now, if you're on Facebook and you follow darts, you're going to see something. You're going to see USA Darts Production, Bearded Dart Guy. You're going to see whatever other streaming type of things hitting you. Iceland darts, like I see Iceland darts all the time. Those types of things. But if you're not looking for it, it's not in your face like these other sports.
Well, you know what they need to do is everybody needs to start watching Atomic Darts. That way they get hooked.
Yeah, there we go.
But honestly, I mean, not to change the subject, because I just want to circle back to the fact that, you know, I think one of the first streams that I've ever watched was Atomic Darts, and I know that we were kind of hatched out of that nest, you know, and along with Scottish Lad and Michael Holman and Bill Bell, just to name a few, and we all sort of, you know, just kind of met in the chat, become good friends, and it really turned into more family now than friends. I mean, the list could, I could name names for the next 10 minutes of the show and still wouldn't be done with friends that we've met. And I think that is something else that darts offer. It's not just friends, but it actually is a family. You know, I mean, we're in a network of people that, you know, they don't have to necessarily be part of Bullseyes N Brewskis, but, you know, we're brothers with all the Soft Tip Central USA crew, Justin Sanderson and you know, and Nick and you know, Tugboat, Ricky Jackson, you know, Nick Canton too. I don't think he gets enough credit because I mean, I know with that Soft Tip Central USA home tour this year that you're part of, man, and we are as well, that, Nick really does all the analytics for that, and yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah.
I feel like a pro after getting that. I mean,
right. So, Daniel Booth actually, he's the, I guess the whole founder of Soft Tip Central over in the UK, good friend of ours too. He did the Nexus tour, started the Nexus tour. I said, hey, we have to do something over here in the US. And he said, hey, talk to Justin. So I got with Justin. I said, Justin, we will help, man. Let's jump in. Let's get this thing rolling. So he said, yeah, we're going to do that. And he got with Nick. And next thing you know, it just seemed like within days. I mean, it was ready to go.
24 hours, I believe, that it filled up.
I mean, it was popping, man.
Within 2-3 days, got it started. In 24 hours after he opened it up, it was done.
Yeah, I mean, within a day, it was completely sold out for the year. So I think that's something that obviously the demand is much higher than the supply, which is good to start. And I think I can see that growing to where, in the years coming, that's a huge thing. I can just right. And super proud of all of them. Super proud of Soft Tip Central crew for really kind of engineering that thing. And we're really proud to kind of help promote that. And, and also what Eric Edub too is involved in that too, right?
Yeah. Promote
darts. He's a big play in that too. And, like I said, we're all just brothers and sisters, and I'm just glad to be part of the family, and there's room for plenty more. I know that when we started streaming, there weren't a whole lot of, I didn't see a whole lot of streamers out there. I know you had games out there, and then there were a few others, but now you look and it's just loaded with people streaming darts. And I love it. I just love it. I try to jump with everyone I can.
Once a week, and we promote them, man. We love it. I'm just trying to support itself. We're not competing against anybody. We want our love to be for the sport to be everybody's love. We love it. We share everybody's stuff. We promote them. We shout them out, and that's all it's about. It's growing the bigger family. The more and more people that keeps going, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what we're going for.
Yeah, because like when we started, basically it's like you've seen a whole lot of professional people showing you how to throw darts properly, how to fix your stance, how to do different practice games. And trust me, I watch all of that. But I thought, you know what? I don't see anybody throwing pub style darts. Like, let's bring the pub into the house. Let's show people how fun this thing can be, how it can be for beginners. It can be for females, for kids, for anybody. Let's just the average player can come in here and compete. And that's kind of what we are. We're just the average player. Everybody that played us knows, we're not going to win too many games. We try, but, and that's the whole kind of idea behind us, and hey, we're growing. We now have Gerald Gudasesi, Heavy G. He's also streaming for Bullseyes N Brewskis. Also, we actually have a Bigfoot as part of our team now. I don't know. Bigfoot is real. Okay. I'm telling you right now, his name is Daryl Shaver. He's part of Bullseyes N Brewskis, and he does exist. So
I haven't seen him in person, so we might
right.
be if he is.
You'll never see him in person. That's the point.
The point. I thought we were going to catch him Saturday. As soon as I get close to catching him, he's elusive and he's gone, and then he wins and he's gone. There's no proof. I can't quite get him. But
we're gonna have to put like a furry outfit on him whenever he goes and plays anywhere.
Hey, you know what sold me on him? Right, is the fact that that I'm a New York Jets fan. I'm not proud of it, but I'm going to stick with it, right? It's my
losers always need fans. It's okay.
I crossed the bear. So when Daryl told me, he goes, hey, man, I tried out for the New York Jets in the 80s. I was like, you're my boy, man, right there. Forget about the darts.
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg tried out for the Eagles, too. So, it's
okay. There you go. I've seen that movie.
So... Hey guys, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's been close to an hour. I know you guys you're into work life. I got to head out to work life. It's been kind of fun having you guys on. We got to do what I call landing the plane here. It was a blast, guys, hanging out with you guys. Too bad it was only one day. Next year I got to find enough people around here I can wrangle up to play to get in. So we can go play that tournament, or we'll figure it out. But that was just a blast to hang with you guys for the day. So I really appreciate it.
I wish we had more time. It was definitely fun.
It was a good time.
If I go back next year, we have to try to do it again.
Yeah, I think you guys should. I think you should go back. It should become like a yearly thing for you.
Hey, I'll give you my wife's number, and you can text her and tell her it should be a yearly thing because she wasn't too happy about the whole situation.
Well, you got to bring the wife. You got to bring the wife, man.
She wants nothing to do with Vegas.
Oh, well.
Hey, my wife stayed at a much better hotel than I did. She stayed down on the Strip, New York, with her friend, man. She came in midweek. And,
I saw that. She was posting pictures like having a blast.
Yeah,
and we're sitting there grinding.
Yeah.
Trying to make a whole $100 combined,
Yeah.
For the 2 tournaments we played in.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay for her hotel room,
Right.
So.
Hey, but Shane's World tonight. Shane's World tonight at 7 p.m. EST.
Yep.
Live in Shane's basement.
Yes.
Got my gaming PC up and running finally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yes, definitely, guys. Make sure that you catch that. And this Sunday, some more 01 in regards to the tour. So we'll be.
Thought about that.
Yeah. So watch that. I know Bullseyes N Brewskis streams that live.
Yes.
On Sundays. We don't know who we're playing just yet, but maybe Roy, maybe you and I get to,
Hope so, man.
go a little toe to toe. Maybe we can do facial hair.
Okay.
We can play for facial hair.
Wait a minute. I'm not
Nick, Kent, you got to make this happen, brother.
We play for facial hairs.
Yeah.
So maybe we get Mr. Jason Watt involved with that one too. So I know Jason can play, man.
He has a grand board, right?
I watched him. He hopped on the grand board one night, and I watched him play, and he's incredible.
Yeah, I'm afraid to play him. So I think you and I would be balled all over if we play him. So it's kind of like Will Stewart. You think, what's this kid, Will Stewart, like doing this stream thing? The boy can play.
I don't want to match up with Will in that.
No way. Those guys can play. So hey guys, it's been fun. It was nice. Thank you guys for jumping on. I know it was last minute that I asked you guys to do this. So really appreciate it.
Got to be a part of it.
So watch Cheyenne's World tonight. It'll be a blast. It'll be interesting. Throw some questions at him. Go play with him. It should be fun. Roy, thank you so much, guys. Check out Bullseyes N Brewskis on Saturdays. What time do you guys go off? Like 8 p.m.
7 p.m. EST, and there's a question mark for the end. Sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 4. It just depends.
Yeah, it has run
on the darts. I mean,
yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me, everybody. Thank you so much for checking this out. Don't forget to check out Shot Darts for all your darting needs, as far as beautiful artwork that you get to throw, magic wear for wonderful jerseys like what I'm wearing currently. And of course, Condor Flights and Shafts, which Roy plays with the Condor Flights.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing on that. I used the Tommy Dart B52 20 gram the entire tournament. That is my dart of choice, and definitely matched up with the Ash Condor 100%.
I think it's a good matchup.
Shaft combo there is.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching. We will see you guys next week. And speaking of Bigfoots, he and I have been chatting about maybe getting him on the show. It won't be him because we can't really see him, but Bigfoot may be joining the show here for next week. So
awesome.
All right, guys. Have a good one. I will see you guys around the way. Guys, hang on one second. Let me just end the show, and we'll close it out. So. All right, thanks everybody for watching. See you guys next week.